Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats Lino. For a place to get all your collectibles, click the link in the description below to head on over to Big Bad Toy Store. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Alright, I missed out on the original release of these by Mattel, so when Super 7 announced these, I was definitely up for getting most of the core characters, similar to the way that I've got the core characters that I loved from the old Mattel Motu Classics series. And by all accounts, these figures are very close to what was originally released, with a few minor differences. Unfortunately, I don't have the originals to do a side-by-side comparison, but I'll see if I can point out any differences that I've heard of and so on. But onto the packaging, I do love this red embossed Thundercats symbol here. I only realised when I was unboxing that that is actually just a slip cover that you can remove and then display the figure through that window box if you want to keep it boxed. But as most people know from my channel, that I pretty much open everything that I buy. The figure itself, we'll go through the figure in a second, just go through the accessories. I do like the claw shield here, so it comes with two versions with the Sword of Omens in its retracted state. I'm not sure if that can be removed. This one looks like it's well embedded in there. This one looks like it might be removable. It looks a bit loose in there. I haven't tried to remove it, but we'll get to that in a second. So it comes with a hairy version and this more metallic gold sheen version. On the right here, I think I prefer this one, which is more cartoon accurate, I think, based on my memory. But it's good that they've given this option. I'm not sure if the original figure came with both or just one, but either way, they do look pretty good with the sculpting and the paint application there. But I'll definitely be going with the smoother version. And again, these are the ones that you can swap out on his left arm. And so it does have the peg in there, which is good. And again, I do like this smoother gold version. It comes with a separate head sculpt, which I'll go through a little bit later. But definitely I prefer the snarling sculpt just for a bit of character and variation in the display. Most of the figures I have do have pretty stoic expression, so anything dynamic or expressive like this, I definitely try to have that in the collection. It comes with a Book of Omens. The paint app's not too bad. You can, I guess, see the symbol clearly enough. You can see there, and the paint application is okay. There's no sort of opening mechanism or anything like that with pages, but I guess a nice enough accessory. And then of course the Sword of Omens itself. The symbol's not that great on this side. You can't really make out the eyes of the line there. And on this side, I don't think those dots are meant to be quite like that, if I can even focus. So I think those two white spots are pretty much blemishes. But overall, it's not too bad. There's no sort of silver metallic paint on it either, which is a little bit disappointing. I would have thought the blade here could have been coloured a nice silver colour, but other than that, it's not too bad. And then of course it does come with a whole slew of swap out regular hands, which I guess can hold the sword, etc. Not sure, there's not too much variation between the two. If I just bring up the two right hands, I can't even tell the difference, to be honest. They look identical, so I'm not sure if that's just some sort of error there, or they're just spares or what, but they pretty much look identical. I guess the hands that he does come with by default are a little bit wider for, I guess, the posing, snarling sort of action pose. But I'll get onto the figure and give you guys a closer look at that. Hold on. Alright, looking at the figure itself, if you're into the Motu Classic series, you'll be very familiar with what you get. The overall articulation, pretty much a lot of the mold as well is very similar, if not reused, from the Motu Classics series. The thighs here, the muscle texture, the outlining, even the biceps and so on, and a bit of the ab crunch there is very reminiscent of the Motu Classics. The head sculpt is pretty good. I'm not sure if the paint app is exactly the same as the original figure, but it does look pretty close to what I remember from the cartoon. There are some blemishes, of course. I'll just get rid of whatever that is off sticking to it. Some of the paint blemishes, I've got some bleed through here from God knows what. There's a few on the back here where some of the paint sort of rubbed off in the packaging. I did hate the packaging where some of the accessories and so on were taped in and a little bit difficult to get out. So I think they could have done that a little bit better. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The sculpting in the hair I quite like. It's nice and fine, so it doesn't look too clumpy or like a big lump of clay, which is quite nice. The alternate head sculpt has pretty nice hair too, almost identical, although mine does have a little bit of a paint scratch on the front here based on the packaging or the clamshell rubbing that off, which is a shame. But at least the sort of paint application on the face there is nice and sharp. The eyes look pretty good with that bright red. I do like that. And articulation wise, the joints weren't too tight out of the box. Just be careful as you go along. But the arms go out and there's the usual bicep swivel there. Only a single jointed elbow, no double joints there. And a little bit of rocking action on the wrist and so on. You do get the waist rotation, and the legs go out the usual sort of spread there, and the single jointed knees. So you can get him in some decent action poses, but I'll be trying to at least try to get him with the sword holding up in that pose of his. If not, I'll probably just use it with one hand, similar to He-Man. But on that note, I might grab He-Man and give you guys a quick side-by-side there. Hold on. Alright, here are the two side-by-side, and as you can see, it was nearly impossible for me to get the two hands centered on his body, holding up the Sword of Omens there. Luckily for He-Man, he only ever held up the power sword with one hand, I guess. So the arms here just don't bend quite enough, and the rotation there in the bicep just doesn't get it into the center. So I'll probably have to think of a separate pose for him. But as you can see, side by side, the molds, the design, the overall sort of aesthetic is very similar with the original Motu Classics. I do have to say the paint application on the original Mattel figure, just the sort of shading on the muscles and so on, is much better, I think, than the very flat sort of coloring of the Thundercats figure here. But I guess I'm not sure. I'll probably have to go back to the cartoon, which I haven't watched for years now, to see how much sort of shading and definition you have in those sort of skin areas. But it was great that they did that on the Motu Classics. But I guess if it's in line with what was originally released by Mattel in this series, I guess there can't be too many complaints. The sculpting is still pretty nice overall. But that's pretty much it for a quick look at this new Super7 Thundercats figure. Hopefully you can click the like and subscribe button. I do have Panthro and Mumra coming up next in the review, so hopefully you can stick around for all of that. Until then, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.